Alex Eala has reached a point in her career where the conversation around her is no longer limited to rankings, match results, or what happens on a tennis court. The bigger story now is the scale of attention surrounding her as she enters the 2026 US Open cycle. Nike has placed Eala in a prominent position within its current tennis marketing, and reports circulating around social media suggest that her visibility in New York could be even larger than fans expected. The important question is not simply why Nike is promoting Eala. It is why this moment matters so much. And there is a reason the story has caught fire among Filipino tennis fans. Eala is only 21, she has become the most prominent Filipina player of her generation, and her rise has happened quickly enough to change expectations around what is possible for Philippine tennis. Her growing fan base is no longer watching from a distance. They are following her across tournaments, filling sections of stadiums, sharing every major moment online, and turning her matches into events of their own. That audience is becoming part of the story Nike is trying to tell. Welcome back to the channel. If you follow Alex Eala's rise and want the latest developments from her journey through the biggest tournaments in tennis, make sure you are subscribed. Because as Eala heads toward New York, the most interesting part of this story may not be what has already happened. It may be what the combination of performance, popularity, and commercial attention could mean for the next stage of her career. The reported Nike push has generated an obvious comparison with the way major tennis brands have historically positioned their biggest stars. Nike has spent decades building campaigns around athletes whose sporting achievements and cultural identities could reach far beyond the court. Serena Williams became a global symbol. Naomi Osaka brought together tennis, fashion, and multiple cultural identities. Other major champions have been transformed from successful athletes into recognizable global personalities. Eala is not yet in that category based simply on Grand Slam achievements, and that distinction matters. But Nike appears to see something in her trajectory that goes beyond a ranking number. That is where the Filipino fan base becomes especially important. Eala represents a country with a huge population and an enormous global diaspora, and tennis has rarely had a Filipina player positioned at this level of international visibility. When Eala wins, Filipino supporters do not treat the result as just another WTA scoreline. Flags appear in the stands. Clips spread across social media. Her interviews are shared. Her progress becomes a national talking point. From a marketing perspective, that kind of emotional connection is extremely valuable because it gives a brand something that advertising money cannot easily manufacture. There is also an important distinction between a player being marketed heavily and a player actually earning that attention through performance. Eala's story becomes much more compelling when the commercial narrative is placed alongside her results. Her rise has included significant victories, deep tournament runs, and the ability to compete against established names. Her Washington breakthrough, including the reported WTA 500 title over Jessica Pegula, was particularly important because it gave her a major piece of evidence that she could turn rising potential into a tournament-winning performance. Verify, confirm the exact tournament, opponent, and score before publication. That achievement, if confirmed as presented, changes the marketing conversation. A company can promote potential, but it becomes much easier to build a campaign around an athlete who has already demonstrated that she can win at a high level. The strongest commercial stories are usually built when performance and personality arrive at the same time. Eala's appeal is increasingly based on both. She has the competitive results to attract serious tennis attention, while her background gives brands an identity story that is immediately understandable to audiences far beyond the traditional tennis market. The reported $140 price point attached to Eala's royal blue Nike kit has also generated discussion among fans. But the number itself is less important than what the product represents. If Nike is giving Eala prominent placement within its US Open collection and marketing material, the company is effectively saying that her image can sell the idea of the tournament experience. Verify, confirm the exact retail price, product name, availability, and whether the item is an official Eala-specific release. That is a commercial vote of confidence, but it should not be confused with proof that she has already become Nike's biggest tennis star. The same caution applies to reports of billboards or major advertising placements around New York City. Social media posts and fan accounts can make a campaign look much larger than it actually is, particularly during a Grand Slam when tennis advertising dominates the city. Unless Nike or a reliable publication confirms the exact locations, the responsible way to describe those reports is as unconfirmed. The buzz is real, but the specific billboard claims still need verification. That distinction matters because Eala's story is strong enough without turning speculation into fact. What is confirmed, however, is that Eala's commercial profile has been rising alongside her tennis profile. Nike has worked with her, and her presence within the brand's tennis ecosystem has become increasingly visible. That progression is significant because major sporting campaigns are rarely built around a single photograph. They are usually the result of a longer relationship in which a company watches an athlete's performance, personality, audience, and long-term potential. Eala now appears to be entering that conversation. One of the most interesting elements of her story is the way her Filipino identity has been incorporated into her public image. Tennis is a global sport, but global marketing does not always treat every national identity equally. Eala gives Nike an opportunity to connect performance on the court with Filipino culture and pride. Earlier reports about Filipino-inspired elements in her tennis apparel have attracted attention precisely because they communicate something personal rather than generic. Verify, confirm the exact Sampaguita-related product, date and Nike campaign before presenting those details as established fact. That symbolism matters because fans do not simply see a player wearing a national reference. They see representation. For supporters who grew up without a Filipina tennis player occupying this kind of international space, every appearance becomes part of a larger story. That is why Eala's supporters have been so vocal about her progress. The relationship is emotional, and brands understand that emotional loyalty can be much more powerful than conventional advertising. The US Open is therefore a particularly important stage. New York is one of the biggest media markets in the world, and the tournament attracts an audience that extends well beyond traditional tennis fans. Players are photographed constantly, social media coverage moves at extraordinary speed, and brands compete for attention everywhere from the stadium to the city streets. For Eala, that environment creates an opportunity to turn a growing international profile into something much larger. But the pressure works in the opposite direction too. A bigger marketing campaign means bigger expectations. Once a player becomes highly visible, every match is analyzed differently. A loss that might previously have been described as a normal competitive result can suddenly become a question about momentum. A strong performance becomes evidence that the hype was justified. Eala will have to manage that environment while continuing to develop as a 21-year-old professional player. That is why her actual tennis remains the foundation of this entire story. Marketing cannot win a Grand Slam match. A billboard cannot protect a player from an opponent who is serving well. A social media campaign cannot change the score. If Eala is going to become one of the most recognizable young players in the sport, the commercial attention will have to keep being supported by competitive progress. The good news for her is that the trajectory on court has already given Nike and other brands something meaningful to work with. Her rise also reflects how quickly the WTA landscape can change. Rankings can move dramatically when a young player starts collecting major wins, and a single breakthrough season can completely change how the tennis world evaluates an athlete. Eala has already gone from being discussed primarily as a promising young player to being treated as someone capable of challenging established names. That shift is arguably more important than any individual marketing campaign. There is another reason the Nike story matters. Eala is not simply trying to become a better-ranked tennis player. She is building a personal brand at the same time. That requires finding a balance between authenticity and commercial visibility. The most successful tennis stars eventually become recognizable even to people who rarely watch tennis. They have a signature look, a recognizable personality, and a story audiences understand. Eala's Filipino identity, her youth, and her rapid rise give her the raw ingredients for that kind of recognition. And then there is the fan factor. When Eala steps onto a major American court, the crowd itself can become part of the atmosphere. Filipino supporters have shown repeatedly that they are willing to travel, organize, and make their presence known. That is exactly the type of audience brands notice because it creates visible energy inside the venue and measurable conversation outside it. If Eala receives strong support in New York, that will not just be a nice moment for the player. It will reinforce the idea that her audience has commercial value. The phrase Eala effect has increasingly been used by supporters to describe this phenomenon, but the concept goes beyond a slogan. It refers to what happens when one athlete creates attention that spreads into a wider community. More people discover tennis because of her. More Filipino fans follow the WTA. More casual viewers learn her name. More brands become interested. More tournament organizers recognize the value of her presence. That cycle can become self-reinforcing if the player continues to win. Of course, Eala still has plenty to prove. She has not yet built the kind of Grand Slam resume associated with the biggest names in women's tennis. A strong marketing campaign should not be mistaken for a championship credential. The next level of her career will be determined by consistency. Can she perform week after week? Can she defeat different styles of opponents? Can she handle the pressure that comes with being expected to win? Can she remain healthy through a demanding season? Those are the questions that will ultimately determine how high she can climb. That is also why the US Open matters beyond one tournament. A Grand Slam is not just another stop on the calendar. The points, attention, media exposure, and pressure are all amplified. Every match gives a young player a chance to establish herself against the best competition in the world. For Eala, a strong New York run would give the Nike campaign an even stronger sporting foundation. A disappointing result would not erase her progress, but it would remind everyone that development in tennis is rarely a straight line. There is another storyline worth watching: how established Nike players respond to the changing hierarchy.